Hello and welcome to Wavescan, the international DX program from Adventist World Radio. Researched and written in Indianapolis by Dr. Adrian Peterson and produced in the studios of WRMI Shortwave in Miami, Florida. I'm Jeff White. Today on Wavescan, 100 Years of Wireless and Radio in Bulgaria, Part 10, the International Clandestine Scene. The 75th anniversary of the War of the Worlds. Major news about 3 U.S. shortwave stations, and DX reports from Japan and the Philippines. The long and interesting story of radio broadcasting in Bulgaria would hardly be complete without the inclusion of details regarding clandestine radio stations beaming their programming into Bulgaria from other locations. Our story today goes back to the turbulent era of World War II, and in particular to the year 1940. Researcher Alec Howe in England informs us in his fascinating book, The Black Game, that there were 200 or more clandestine radio broadcasting stations on the air in Europe during World War II. Most of these mysterious and enigmatic radio stations were established by the British and the Americans, though Germany and Russia also had their small share of clandestine voices in the radio spectrum. At one stage, in May 1940, the British were on the air with a total of 48 clandestine stations, all from the same set of studios at Woburn, some 40 miles north from London. Right towards the end of the year 1940, the British authorities began a series of clandestine radio broadcasts beamed to several countries in Europe in their own languages. These broadcasts were on the air from the covert radio station in Palestine, Sharq al-Adna, with its studios in Jerusalem, and the transmitters on the Mediterranean coast near Jaffa. The initial broadcasts of this surreptitious programming, specifically beamed on shortwave to Bulgaria in the Bulgarian language, were inaugurated in August 1941 under the title Radio Free Bulgaria. It is probable that the Bulgarian programming was carried by all 4 shortwave transmitters, as was the usual procedure adopted by Sharq al-Adna. However, because the transmitter power was rated at only 7.5 kilowatts, the coverage into Bulgaria was inadequate, and a stronger signal was needed. At this stage, the British authorities were establishing another covert radio operation in Cairo, Egypt, for the purpose of broadcasting surreptitious programming across the Mediterranean to the many countries in and near southern Europe. The broadcasts in the Bulgarian language from Sharq al-Adna radio were transferred to Radio Cairo early in the year 1942, and at least 4 transmitters carried the programming. These transmitters were Cable and Wireless in Abu Sabal, SUV with 10 kilowatts on shortwave, SUW also with 10 kilowatts on shortwave, and a 20 kilowatt station on 620 kilohertz medium wave. And the BFBS from Cairo, station JCJC, with 7.5 kilowatts on shortwave. It's true that the 10 kilowatt power level in use by the shortwave transmitters near Cairo was only a little more than the 7.5 kilowatts in Palestine, yet the signal reception in Bulgaria was indeed significantly improved. Perhaps it was the location, as well as the antenna beams at Abu Sabal, that provided an enhanced signal into Bulgaria. These clandestine radio broadcasts from Radio Free Bulgaria and its associated title, Radio Vasilevsky, came to an end in mid-January 1944. On July 2, 1943, another British clandestine operation beamed towards Bulgaria was inaugurated under the name The Voice of New Europe. The station pretended to be a German operation, with the station in Germany itself. However, though the exact transmitter location is these days unknown, yet it's quite clear that it was not located in Germany. The station was on the air for exactly 1 year and 2 weeks. The final broadcast was aired on July 15, 1944. In March 1944, after the Allied forces had fought their way into Italy from the south, Clandestine programs were broadcast from the powerful pre-war Italian station located at Bari on the peninsular East Coast. Freedom Radio, as this station was called, was on the air in 6 languages, including Bulgarian. The well-known American shortwave station in Europe, Radio Free Europe, made its inaugural broadcast from a mobile facility at Lampertheim in Germany on July 4, 1950. Subsequent transmitter bases were established elsewhere in Germany and also in Spain and Portugal. Programming in the Bulgarian language under the title Radio Free Bulgaria went on the air from Radio Free Europe during the following year, 1951, on August 11th. These transmissions were looked upon at the time as being clandestine. During the 1950s, 2 shortwave stations were on the air in Greece, with covert programming beamed into Bulgaria. These 2 stations were located in a large American military encampment at Kefisia, a dozen miles north of Athens. Radio Goryanin, the Mountain Man, was inaugurated on April 1, 1951, with half-hour broadcasts in the 6 megahertz band. The exact frequency was changed every few minutes to avoid jamming transmissions. The broadcasts from Radio Goryanin were on the air for 11 and a half years, and the closing broadcast took place on November 30th, 1962. A similar clandestine station located at the same American base in Greece was noted on the air in the 7 megahertz band during the year 1956. This station identified on air as Radio Christo Botev, in honor of an early Bulgarian hero. It should be said also that the German authorities established their own subversive radio broadcasting stations during the same era. For example, Radio Danube was on the air to Bulgaria in the Bulgarian language, claiming to be located in Bulgaria itself. However, it is known that this clandestine operation was centered in Vienna, Austria. Another similar German station was on the air during the war years under the slogan Radio Military Transmitter. This station, also on the air in the Bulgarian language, claimed to be located in Bulgaria, though it is known that the actual location was in Belgrade, Yugoslavia. Perhaps we can close this topic today with information regarding jamming transmitters in Bulgaria. Back in the year 1951, a whole network of small, low-power, mainly shortwave transmitters was established throughout Bulgaria, usually nearby to the larger cities. Then 30 years later, for example, it was noted that Bulgaria was already jamming broadcasts in the Bulgarian language from several international broadcasting stations, including Deutsche Welle, Vatican Radio, Radio Free Europe, as well as the Voice of Greece and the Voice of Turkey. However, Bulgaria ended jamming transmissions against most of these international broadcasters in their language on December 21st, 1988.
You're listening to Wavescan from Adventist World Radio. Send your comments and reception reports to Wavescan, Box 29235, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46229 in the United States. That's Wavescan, Box 29235, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46229 in the USA. Or you can email us at wavescan@awr.org. Our email once again, wavescan@awr.org.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
The widely read American radio journal Radio News for October 23rd reminds us that the 75th anniversary of the dramatic radio broadcast War of the Worlds took place at the end of October, just 10 days back. It was on Sunday, October 30th, 1938, Halloween weekend, that this fictional radio broadcast regarding a supposed invasion of strange beings from Mars was aired over the nationwide CBS network in the United States, causing widespread panic in many areas.
On this particular evening, October 30th, the Crosley service estimated that 32 million people We're listening in on radios.
4 hours, not much change in temperature. A slight atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported over Nova Scotia, causing a low-pressure area to move down rather rapidly over the northeastern states, bringing a forecast of rain.
It is presumed that the two CBS shortwave stations, both at 10 kilowatts, also carried a relay of the controversial War of the Worlds broadcast, W2XE in Wayne, New Jersey, and W3XAU in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Ladies and gentlemen, following on the news given in our bulletin a moment ago, the Government Meteorological Bureau has requested the large observatories of the country to keep an astronomical watch on any further disturbances occurring on the planet Mars. Due to the unusual nature of this occurrence, we have arranged an interview with the noted astronomer, Professor Pearson, who will give us his views on this event. In a few moments, we will take you to the Princeton Observatory at Princeton, New Jersey. We return you until then to the music of Ramon Raquello and his orchestra.
This fictional radio drama, set in the country town of Grover's Mill, New Jersey, was produced by CBS in the New York studios of their 50-kilowatt medium wave station WABC on the 20th floor at 485 Madison Avenue, New York. Grover's Mill is a real town in the American state of New Jersey. Radio station WABC back then was a forerunner to the now well-known WCBS in New York City.
Wait a minute, something's happening. Humped shape is rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against a mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame springing from the mirror, and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Oh, Lord, they're turning into flames. Now the whole field's caught up by the woods, the barns, the gas tanks for the automobiles, spreading everywhere. Coming this way now, about 20 yards.
The Orson Welles radio drama of 1938 was based on a science fiction novel under the same title, War of the Worlds, written by the English writer H.G. Wells 40 years earlier in 1898. The story of the supposed Martian invasion was rewritten for radio and broadcast by radio station 5CL in Adelaide, Australia in 1927, with the same panic results. In 1969, a Spanish version of the War of the Worlds was broadcast from a radio station, Radio Quito, in Ecuador. Angry listeners stormed the radio station and its co-owned newspaper office and set it on fire, resulting in several deaths.
In the meantime, further details of the catastrophe at Grover's Mill are coming in. The strange creatures, after unleashing their deadly assault, crawled back in their pit and made no attempt to prevent the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies and extinguish the fire. The combined fire departments of Mercer County are fighting the flames which menace the entire countryside. We have been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill, but we hope to be able to return you there at the earliest possible moment. In the meantime, we take you to... Just one moment, please.
In 1988, the original typed script of the American version of the War of the Worlds, with handwritten notations, was sold at an auction in New York for $143,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a grave announcement to make. Incredible as it may seem, both the observations of science and the evidence of our eyes lead to the inescapable assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars.
And you're listening to Wavescan from Adventist World Radio. Let's go now to Tokyo with Yukiko Tsuji and her monthly DX report. We didn't have time to broadcast it last week because we had to produce the program a few days in advance. So here is Yukiko's report for November.
Hello and welcome to the DX report of the month from Japan Shortwave Club, edited by Toshi Otake, and I'm Yukiko Tsuji. We have several DX reports from our club members this week. Please note that many stations changed to winter schedule effective on 27th of October. So some of the reported frequencies of this week may not be the same as reported. Trax FM from Malaysia was heard on 7295 kHz on September 19th from 12:55 to 13:15 UTC in English. SIO rating was 332. Pop music program was aired. ID was given at 12:59, then news followed. NBC East New Britain from Rabaul, Papua New Guinea, was heard on 3385 kHz on September 23rd from 0952 to 1000 UTC in Pidgin. SIO rating was 352. Talk program was on the air. Radio Australia via Palau was received on 9965 kHz on October 5th from 12:59 to 1400 UTC in English. SIO rating was 454. Program heard was ABC News at 1300, followed by Saturday Night Country at 1305. HCJB Australia from Kununurra was heard on 15340 kHz on October 6 from 12:27 with interval signal and ID until 12:45 UTC in English. SIO rating was 353. Interval signal and ID were repeated until 12:30, then family care program started. Tajik radio from Tajikistan was heard on 4765 kHz on September 20th from 1920 to 1933 UTC in Tajik. SIO rating was 453. Talk program was broadcast. Voice of Armenia was received on 4810 kHz on September 20th from 1905 to 1910 UTC in Arabic. SIO rating was 352. Talk and music programs were aired. Deutsche Welle via Kigali, Rwanda was heard on 11865 kHz on October 7th from 1900 to 2000 UTC in English. SIO rating was 353. They broadcast news, followed by Africa Link at 1905 and Spectrum at 1930. WWCR from Nashville, USA was heard on 5935 kHz on September 23rd from 0935 to 0945 UTC in English. SIO rating was 353. Talk and music programs were on the air. Radio Havana, Cuba was heard on 6165 kHz on October 10th from 0645 to 0800 UTC in English. SIO rating was 252. Talk and music programs were aired, and the Spanish program started at 0800. Super Radio Deus é Amor from Curitiba, Brazil, was received on 11765 kHz on October 10th from 0935 to 1000 UTC in Portuguese. SIO rating was 252. Talk program by a male announcer was heard. ID was given at 1000. Radio Nueve de Julio from São Paulo, Brazil, was heard on 9819 kHz on September 24th from 0925 to 0935 UTC in Portuguese. SIO rating was 443. Music and talk programs were broadcast. Finally, Japan Shortwave Club will issue the QSO card for the correct reports on our segment of Wavescan program. We are issuing QSO card by email to the report sent by email. Our address for your email report is jswcqsl@live.jp. I repeat, jswcqsl@live.jp. We continue to issue the printed QSL card by the same system as before. Your report should be addressed to JSWC P.O. Box 44, Kamakura, which is Kamakura, postal code 248-8691, Japan. $1 ILC or $2 for return postage will be appreciated. For this edition of DX Report, we'd like to thank Mr. Iwao Nagatani, Mr. Chiaki Shimada, and Mr. Satoshi Miyashita for sharing the information with us. Thank you for listening, and please join us for our next edition of DX Report of Japan Shortwave Club. I'm Yukiko Tsuji in Tokyo.
Thank you very much, Yukiko. Ray Robinson of KVOH, the Voice of Hope, lets us know that the station returned to the air with a regular service last weekend. Beginning on Friday, the 1st of November, that was Saturday, the 2nd UTC, KVOH in Los Angeles had a 3-hour nightly schedule on 9975 kHz from 0100 to 0400 UTC on Friday and Saturday evenings local time, and then 0200 to 0500 UTC from Sunday, November 3rd, the evening of Sunday, November 3rd on, after the U.S. returned to Standard Time on that day. So now KVOH can be heard 7 days a week at 0200 to 0500 UTC on 9975 kHz. The first 2 hours each night are in Spanish, and the third hour is in English. A good proportion of the programming is live. The schedule will be expanded over the coming months as airtime sales allow. The schedule, which at this point is still subject to change, is on the KVOH website, which is www.kvoh.net. Let's go now to the Philippines, and here's Henry Umahay with his DX report for November.
Hello everyone, to our dear shortwave listeners. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the November 10th edition of the Philippine DX News. This is report number 81. I'm Henry Umaday in Antique, Central Philippines. Glad to be back and thank you for listening. First, let me thank our DXR friends for sending their reception reports and for keeping in touch. Mr. Adrian Bon in Kostwig, Germany. Mr. Haring Haynes in Kappenbergs, Austria. Thank you very much. B13 frequency schedule starting October 27, 2013. AWR Adventist World Radio 1530, UTC 11750 to Nepal from Nauen, Germany. 1600 UTC 1560 kilohertz to India from KSD Guam. 1600 UTC 15215 kilohertz to India from KSD Guam. 2230 UTC 15320 kilohertz to Indonesia from KSD Guam. 2330 17700 to Vietnam from KSDA Guam. Deutsche Welle Radio English to Africa via Kigali, Rwanda. 20 to 2200 UTC 9800 kilohertz, 12070 kilohertz, and 11800 kilohertz. Reception lags for October 2013. October 4, All India Radio 9690 in English from Bangalore at 1435 UTC SA rating for October 5, Radio Voice of Vietnam on 12020 in English from Sontai at 1230 UTC SA rating 433. October 8, China Radio International 11695 in Filipino from Beijing at 1435 UTC SA rating 4 for October 9, HJB Australia on 15340 in English from Kononura at 1525 UTC SA rating 4 for October 9, Adventist World Radio on 15335 kilohertz from Sri Lanka in English at 1530 UTC SA rating 4 for October 10, Radio Pilipinas Overseas, The Voice of the Philippines on 15285 in English from Tinang at 0239 UTC SIO 333. October 10, Radio Havana, Cuba on 13780 in Spanish from Cuba at 1325 UTC SIO rating 4 for October 11, Radio Veritas Asia on 15530 in Vietnamese from Palawig at 0126 SIO rating 4 for October 15, Radio Kuwait on 21580 kilohertz in Filipino from Cab at 1145 UTC SIO rating 333. October 16, Sarawak FM in shortwave on 9835 in Malay from Sarawak, Malaysia at 0300 UTC SIO rating 333. October 21, Adventist World Radio on 17550 in Filipino from Guam at 1045 UTC SIO rating 5. October 22, Radio Thailand HFK9 World Service on 9950 in English from Modantani at 1405 UTC SIO rating 555. We have a special QSL card just for you. For your reception report, please send 1 IRC international reply coupon or $2. Return postage will be greatly appreciated. And friends, if you want to get the transcript of today's Filipinas DX News and see our QSL card series, please visit http:// http://filipinasdx.wordpress.com. That's http://filipinasdx.wordpress.com. Follow us also on Facebook, facebook.com/filipinasdx, or you may want to send us your comments, suggestions, reception lags, and informations to filipinasdx@yahoo.com. That's PILIPINASDX for filipinasdx@yahoo.com. This has been Henry Umaday for Wavescan in Antique Central Philippines saying mabuhay at maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Henry. Legendary shortwave station WYFR in Okeechobee, Florida, ceased transmissions on June 30th, 2013, as we have told you here in Wavescan. Well, we have big news. It's going to resume broadcasting in December as a result of an agreement between Family Stations Incorporated and Radio Miami International, where Wavescan is recorded each week. According to the agreement, Family Radio is selling the WYFR facility to Radio Miami International. Family Radio's programming for the Caribbean and South America will return to shortwave via the Okeechobee site, and Radio Miami's programming, which is currently aired on WRMI in Miami, will switch over to the Okeechobee facility. The station will also carry programs for other international broadcasters, including Pan American Broadcasting's Radio Africa network. A target date of December 1st, 2013 has been set for the resumption of broadcasts. The current WRMI transmission site in Miami will be closed on November 30th, and the WRMI call letters will be transferred to Okeechobee. WYFR is an important part of the heritage of shortwave broadcasting, and we're very happy that it will continue to serve shortwave listeners around the world. The station first went on the air from Okeechobee in 1977, although the origins of WYFR and its predecessors go back to 1927. WYFR, WRMI, is the largest shortwave station in the United States in terms of number of transmitters and antennas. The facility is comprised of 13 transmitters, 12 100 kilowatt and 1 50 kilowatt, and 23 antennas beamed to all of the Americas, Europe, and Africa. Many people made this transition a reality, not the least of whom was the former Secretary-Treasurer and current board member of the National Association of Shortwave Broadcasters, Dan Ellier, who had been the WYFR station manager from the time it was built in the late 1970s until his recent retirement. Well, we'll have much more about all of this news regarding WRMI and WYFR in the coming weeks here on Wavescan. Music from Innsbruck, Austria ends today's edition of Wavescan, the international DX program from Adventist World Radio. Researched and written by Adrian Peterson in Indianapolis. Next week, wireless becomes radio in Canada, the intervening years, and our Bangladesh DX report. Reminder, if you'd like a Wavescan QSL card, you can send your reception reports to Wavescan, Box 29235, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46229 USA. That's Wavescan, Box 29235, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46229 USA. You can also contact us via email at wavescan@awr.org. It's wavescan@awr.org. I'm Jeff White at WRMI in Miami. Till next week, good listening, everyone.